Tento podcast vám přináší lipo-C Ascor, vitamin C s lipozomálním vstřebáváním a unikátními testovacími proužky.
Nice to have you here, Markus, as a host of our Inform Clinic. And I would like to ask you some questions about your topics that you work in your private clinic in Austria, in Turnau. So my first question is, could you explain what mitochondria are and why they are so important for our health?
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation. So, mitochondria is the basic, so what we see and what we can measure is that mitochondria is the basic for health. So if you have healthy mitochondria, the risk is very low to get sick. So we know that 90% of all illness, what you can read in our papers, have to do with a not optimum function in our mitochondria. Mm-hmm. So you can measure in Alzheimer or heart attack, it's the same, we have problems with our mitochondria.
Mm-hmm. And you speak also in your topics about the chronic fatigue syndrome, and that it's correlated and related to mitochondrial dysfunction. Can you just give us a short explanation of that?
So everybody knows that in the last 4 years it was a huge pandemic, and now my clinic is full with people of chronic fatigue syndrome. For the school medicine, it's a new topic. What I see, but the chronic fatigue syndrome is in the functional medicine basic to look how mitochondria are functioning. Mm-hmm. So mitochondria produce energy for us, called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So, and when here is a disturbance, because you have a virus, or bacteria, or inflammation, what else, then is the ATP production decreased, and so you have no energy. So the basic is for me to look chronic fatigue syndrome, are the mitochondria are in good health and there is no lipid oxidation in the mitochondria, and the ATP output is very good. Mm-hmm. So this is the first step what I look. Laboratory, a good anamnese, that's very important. So then you have a good basic for start.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And in your presentations, you speak very often about the reactive oxygen species that are related to mitochondrial damage. So how does it work?
So everybody heard is nothing new, free radicals. So the ROS, reactive oxygen species, so that start with a bad nutrition. So if you have a lack of antioxidant, vitamin C, E, is very important partners, vitamin C and E. So you can get a lipid oxidation, and the lipid oxidation damaged our membrane from the cell membrane or the mitochondrial membrane. So if you have a B vitamin to protect us, or sulfur glutathione is very important for our cell. This is the ROS radical theory. But very important is also the stickstoff, the nitrogen stress. This is also an peroxynitrate and superoxide production, what are damaged our mitochondria. So this is the basic to search, is there a high reactive oxygen species, and did you have enough protection? A lack of sulfur, vitamin C, E. So then you have to supplement to protect the cell.
And you speak about the chronic fatigue syndrome anyway. There are maybe some other common diseases that are associated with mitochondrial dysfunction, which are, according to your experience in your clinic, which are the most seen?
I see neurodegeneration, Parkinson. So in the last time, I see very young people with ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. And I measure the mitochondria, they're all damaged. I don't know what's the reason, toxins, heavy metals, but you can measure it. And Alzheimer, depression, gut problems, thyroid problems, every kind of inflammation damaged our mitochondria and cells. And there we had to say, why is the mitochondrial medicine so a missing link in our health system? I have one easy explanation. Mitochondrial medicine you only can treat with natural supplements. So there is an interest conflict with the pharma industry. So that's the only reason, because in Austria, between Vienna and Innsbruck, so complete Austria, and there's no possibilities to get an information or treatment on the university clinic. So no, the patients are alone. So for me, the big question, why? So that's the reason why I'm here. Thank you. Here we can explain what the people can do for healthy mitochondria and treat mitochondria.
It's true that, as I know, Evosan is very special healthcare private clinic, and your patients are coming from all the world. We can say also, especially from Switzerland, Germany, Austria, Italy, because maybe you provide a different point of view for the medicine that are missing in, we can say, academic healthcare places. So this can be a nice complementary and integrative approach to treat the people, something others that are not found in the normal, we can say normal medicine.
Normal medicine, standard medicine.
Standard medicine. Another thing that Evosan is very special is the evolutionary approach that you have. So the question is, how does our evolutionary history impact current health issues related to mitochondrial disorders?
Yeah. That's the basic in our treatment, in our center. What we want to learn our patient is we need 3 natural impact in our bodies every day. There's hunger, there's cold, and there's exercise.
Yes.
These 3 easy impacts are the basic for health. So look at the last 100 years, what we change in our environment. We are sitting 10, 12 hours, with nobody's moving. If you don't use it, you lose it. We lose muscles. Then cold, we are sitting in climate rooms. So this is very important impacts. Somebody goes to sauna. It's also out of the comfort zone. So hunger is out of the comfort zone. And cold, the body must react and health, you activate your health system in your body. And that is what we are learning. That is the basic for me. Then we have to reduce the carbohydrate. So we eat too much carbohydrate and sugar. And the next step is then I will go to supplement or support our body with micronutrients, with minerals or vitamins for better mitochondrial function. But the basic is exercise, hunger, reduce carbohydrate, cold. So it's not the easy way. The easy way is to swallow a pill. That's the easy way.
So we can imagine that the treatment in your clinic is that you take a patient and you just give him the feeling of hunger. They need to exercise, and they are trying to be in a cold behavior.
We go out in the winter. There's a perfect article you can find in the PubMed. Take away my food and let me run and heal my brain. Take away my food and let me run. So the body needs exercise. So back to the roots.
Yes.
The easy way is back to the roots. Don't sit, go out in every weather. So, but today the Austrian population say it's too cold, it's too windy. Out of the comfort zone.
Yeah. So I understand. Yeah. So this what you are speaking about, the evolution is very close to epigenetic.
Yeah.
And this is my another question: how do epigenetic changes and polymorphism affect our health and susceptibility to disease?
Yeah. I think what you say, this question is very, very important, and I think in our it's not the genetic our problem. It is the epigenetic. The epigenetic, that means our lifestyle, what we are doing with our body. So these changes impact from outside to inside. So it's out cold, our genes react. If you eat with, example, a high glucose meal and sugar meal, our genes produce insulin. So outside, the epigenetic regulates the genetic. But if you have a bad lifestyle and polymorphism, what you don't know before, make it easier to get sick. So I would say that if you know your polymorphism, there are very interesting polymorphism. If you know that, then you can support your body with supplements. We know, example, the homocysteine. So it can be a genetic polymorphism. So that you need much more vitamin B6, B12, and folic acid.
Yes.
So the next step is colitis ulcerosa and morbus Crohn. They most have a genetic effect called FUT2, fucosyltransferase 2. These people can't produce oligosaccharide in the gut. So the missing is they can't produce a good flora microbiome. So if you know that, you have another chance if you eat more Säuerungsflora. I don't know in English the word. Vegetable, kimchi or sauerkraut. So that helps for these people. But some polymorphism, if you know it, then I think you are healthier. And you can decide how many micronutrients I need.
Yes.
So in the mitochondria, there is a polymorphism called superoxide dismutase, SOT2. So if you have a missing link, you don't get it from your father or mother, you have a higher risk.
Yes.
So you have to supplement with mangan or zinc or copper. So if you know that, if not, you have a high risk. The risk is not much higher if you have inflammation. Inflammation plus polymorphism, you have a double risk.
Yeah.
So this is a very, very good laboratory investigation. And for me, it's this prevention investigation before.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so yes, the question that is coming to my mind is the methylation. The methylation and the polymorphism is the same very big issue that is discussed a lot of in the United States, for example, and use the methylation products for the methylation and good expression of the genes.
Methylation is the basic health.
Yeah.
Methylation, for example, for our viewers, a gene is closed normally, methylation. So it's before you can read or scan a gene, you have to open it, acetylation. And then I scan my gene and then I have to close it. And the importance closer or switch off our gene reading is SAMe. Yeah, from the methylation, S-adenosine methionine. So it's very, very important that we know that some sickness or cancer or rheumatism have a methylation problem. The depression, methylation problem. So the next, if you have an histamine problem, example, histamine problem, not only in the gut, histamine problem in the brain. So you can't reduce histamine in the brain. We have not the enzyme like in the gut, the DAO. In the gut, we have an enzyme called DAO. So this breaks down histamine in the gut. But histamine breakdown in the brain, you need methyl groups, SAMe. So if you have a lack of SAMe for histamine degradation, you get depressed because you need SAMe also for dopamine, for serotonin, for melatonin. So, but if you have to the same time histamine problem, you have lack of SAMe. So you have to supplement SAMe. But methyl groups also is a methyl group is sulfur, MSM, or betaine. Yeah. And woman, an example, woman in the during.
Yes, right. So another question that I have here is close. It's all the time speaking about the mitochondrial health, your topic. What role do vitamins and minerals like vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin A, zinc, and glutamine that play the role in the maintaining of mitochondrial health?
Yeah,
it's a big, huge question.
This is one question. We need 2 hours or more.
Yes.
So in our mitochondria, in one cell we are 2,000 to 5,000 mitochondria, and they produce energy, one, and the next one is heat, energy and heat. So if we eat something, it's going in the oven, I don't know, to burning our nutrition. And in this part where it's burning are also normal, that's the cells are damaged. So we have to protect our mitochondria. That's normal, it's really normal. And that we get at the end of the mitochondria should be outcome ATP. And these are in 5 steps. to convert it, our nutrition, in ATP. And this is only possible with enough B vitamins, B1, B2, folic acid, B3, as the completely group of the B vitamins. So the step inside, maybe carbohydrate or fatty acid, you need vitamin B1. If you have a lack of B1 or alpha liponic acid, you can't produce ATP. Or to protect our cell membrane, because in the mitochondria it's burning, oxidation, you need protection. And here we need vitamin C, we need vitamin E, we need Q10 to protect our mitochondria for oxidation. So if you have one kind to lack vitamin C, it's missing vitamin C or E, the mitochondria is not work. Well, there is damage. You can measure it today, and to imagine our body produce the same amount of ATP like the human weight. So 80 kilograms ATP. In professional sports guys, 300 kilogram ATP each day. So it comes from mitochondria. And heart attack is also a lack of ATP in the heart. Our heart is full of mitochondria. And here we need acetyl L-carnitine. So our heart is burning fatty acids. Also put it in the mitochondria. And we need the nutrients. And we see that there's some drugs, very high drugs like ciprofloxacin and antibioticum destroys mitochondria. Or the pantoprazole or acid blocker in the gut is very, very side effects. Huge side effects possible. Magnesium also. Magnesium is the last step in the production of ATP.
And what about the glutamine that played the role?
Glutamine is also very important, but we use glutamine from another way for the gut, and glutamine is also for the produce of alpha ketoglutarate, and for the citrate cyclus, also an energizer in this kind. But glutamine is one of the best amino acids for the gut and the stomach. Glutamine you can produce also GABA. GABA is very sedative amino acid for the brain.
Gamma
aminobutyric acid. It's the important amino acid in the brain for calming.
The good natural antidepressant.
Yeah, absolutely. When you have enough vitamin B6. Because the conversion depends on B6.
Another question that I have is very interesting because it's focusing another topic that you speak very frequently as the stress and the chronic stress. That it's affecting, I think, almost all the people, all the world. And it's a topic that in the medicine we are speaking very frequently I can say in last 5-10 years. So could you explain how chronic stress affect cortisol levels and the immune system? So maybe to explain the cortisol, what does it mean and how can affect the immune system?
It's also this is a seminar question we need one day, but very easy I want to explain very easy. Everybody knows what is stress. Stress is not the problem. I think stress is the problem when you have no solution in your mind. We have no solution. You can break out, you don't know what's happened, you lose your job, you have problems in your family, what else? So a high amount of negative stress, our brain says to our adrenal glands, produce more cortisol, produce more stress hormones. But not the cortisol, also adrenaline and noradrenaline, and also the hormone aldosterone. So this is the 4 big players in our adrenal glands. It produces more when we have more stress. So in this time when we produce these stress hormones, what are they doing in our body? They make an energy distribution in the body. So if we have fight-flight conflict in our immune system, more blood to the heart, more blood to the lungs. So we have to run. If we have negative stress, we should run, not sit. And we have not sit and eat chocolate. That's the worst case what you can do when you have negative stress. So in this time the cortisol rises. We are full of energy, but the cortisol, after 2 minutes stress, your cortisol increase. in the body. And what is the precursor of cortisol? This is cholesterol. So if you have stress, a lot of time of stress, your cholesterol spill is increasing because you need more stress hormones. That's normal, that's good. Yeah? But the cortisol makes different things in your body. Increase your blood sugar more than 50% glucose. Then it's suppress, and it's very important, suppress your immune system. You're very susceptible for infection. First time you suppress your immune system, then maybe you go to holidays and relax. But in this time you have an open window, you are very sensitive for infection. So, and if you don't hear the ring, you don't hear the ring, the alarm of your body. You don't think it's not problem. Cortisol high suppress also melatonin. You will get sleep disturbance. So the next worst case, if you can't sleep. And melatonin is the best regeneration hormone for the night. For immune cells, melatonin is for natural killer cells very important to kill cancer cells. So, and the cortisol, you will get fat, visceral fat. This is, you can see it, the liver is fat, the pancreas fat, the kidney fat, the heart fat. Cortisol is more fat in your visceral body fat. And this to change is to change your lifestyle. Other way is not possible. Other way is not possible. And the next step is when you ignore it, your adrenal glands can be, it's not more able to produce enough cortisol. First high, month of years of stress, and then comes the time the adrenal glands say, dear brain, I can't produce the level of cortisol what you want from me, and it breaks down.
And so this is the chronic fatigue syndrome.
Chronic fatigue. What I measure is in chronic fatigue, people have no anymore cortisol, no adrenaline, no cortisol, no adrenaline. They are completely burnout. A burnout is a heart attack of your adrenal glands. They ignore all alarm signs months and years before. And then you wake up in the morning, sometimes wake up, say, I have no energy, I'm sick, I will get the flu. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 14 days later, I have no energy, no energy. If you have in the morning, you need a long time to have energy, 2, 3, 4 hours, that's not normal. That's not normal. And with the burnout, the cortisol is low. You can measure it in the saliva, free cortisol, and you see it, you can measure it. And these people have absolutely no stress tolerance anymore, physically and psychically.
And how is the treatment about this patient?
Treatment, absolute change your lifestyle. Take decision for your health. In your job, in your family, because this is the last step from your health. And burnout is really, some people say they had a burnout, and I say, okay, which time ago? 2 months ago, they have no burnout. They have a fatigue syndrome, maybe they're it's not a burnout. A burnout is really completely destroy your cortisol production in the adrenal glands. And the treatment time, vitamin C, because in the cortex of the adrenal glands, we have the highest amount of vitamin C in the body. So you can support the adrenal glands, if you have stress, with more vitamin C in the morning, because the adrenal glands need vitamin C to produce adrenaline and noradrenaline. So to give energy. If you take a vitamin C before you go to bed, it can be that you can't sleep because it gives you energy. So you have to look how the patients are react. But in the morning, 1, 2, 3,000, 5,000 milligrams per day, what I sometimes use. And they say, I feel much better. The adrenal glands need a huge amount of vitamin B5, pantotene acid, because pantotene acid is necessary for the adrenal glands to produce cortisol, to rise my cortisol level. So then is support with macronutrients very important.
So it's good information that we can measure the levels of cortisol and we can measure the levels of vitamin C, for example. So some diagnostic tools we have to do. Okay, and what is the relation between insulin resistance and the fat storage and the chronic stress?
This should be the first question, because the insulin resistance today is the basic, the starter for the most sickness, illness. Insulin resistance, 50% of the people today with Western lifestyle, 50% are insulin resistance. This is the precursor of diabetes type 2. So 50% have fatty liver. And people with insulin resistance have 20 to 30% lack function in mitochondria. So they have a high glucose in the blood, but no energy in your cells.
Yes.
They are tired.
Yeah.
And that's the Western lifestyle disease. It is the starter, first insulin resistance, high blood sugar.
Yes.
I measure it, I don't know, in Czechoslovakia, is the HOMA index. It's a laboratory marker, because the HbA1c is not it's a marker in the past, 2 months ago, but not actually. So I think that the HOMA index is a very good marker to measure the insulin resistance. And and stress and insulin resistance. That's a dangerous situation, because more stress, more glucose, and more fatty acid, more triglyceride production, more visceral fat, and more mitochondrial damage, and you will be tired and have no energy. And insulin resistance, you have a high glucose level, and high glucose compete in the blood with amino acids, which we need in our brain. So it is clear, if you eat a lot of carbohydrates and sugar level up, sugar level down, sugar level up, sugar level down, you can't get amino acids in the brain to produce our endorphins, serotonin or dopamine.
Yes.
They are depressed.
Yes.
They make an investigation in Korea where depressed people change their nutrition. They take a Mediterranean diet, and 70% after 8 weeks say they have no any more depression. Only change the nutrition. It is the basic change the nutrition. I give Paleo Mediterranean cost, low carbohydrate, more good fatty acids, more good proteins, and then supplement the rest what you can eat. Iode, vitamin C, B vitamin.
Yeah.
It's the basic for me.
Yeah. And so why magnesium? Magnesium is the other topic, very important and discussed. Why magnesium is so important for our health, and how can it help prevent migraines and improve the sleep?
50% of all biochemical reaction in our body, 50%, so the half or something more, depends on one molecule, that's magnesium. So, and when you measure it, not in the serum, not in the blood, we want to know how much is in the cell. That's the big difference. How much is in the cell? Magnesium is very easy throughout of the cell, but it's very hard to go in, because you have to go into the cell. And stress is a magnesium killer. We know it from investigation in Graz that if you have a chronic stress, you need much more magnesium, 10 times more. Magnesium is the starter for ATP production. Without magnesium, no ATP. No ATP, no magnesium. And we know since 1975, an investigation from George, that he looks in cells, how many mitochondria in the cells, when you have a lack of magnesium. And you lose 50% of your mitochondria. 50% of mitochondria. No mitochondria, no energy. No energy, And if the sugar, we talked before about insulin resistance. So with higher glucose, we need much more magnesium. Much more magnesium. And migraine. In Austria, I only know from Austria that 800,000 people have migraine. And we know that migraine people, so humans with migraine have 30% lower magnesium level in the brain. In the brain. So what I say is that reduce the wheat consumption. Wheat is very important. Gluten, throw gluten out. Take a B complex. Take magnesium. Q10 is very important for the brain, and vitamin C for energy.
Yeah.
And we see that 8 from 10 have no anymore magnesium after 2 months. No migraine anymore. Very important, sugar and wheat out. And mostly in migraine you have to restore the gut because they have also gut problems.
Yes.
So it's very connected, our gut with our brain. So magnesium is the basic.
And the magnesium and the sleep, improving the sleep?
Absolutely, because magnesium is also calming down. Open your vessels. Magnesium is the open your vessels. It's reduced the blood pressure. Magnesium inhibits the calcium influx. That means it's reduced inflammation, because we know during an inflammation process, calcium is influx into the cell. And magnesium saves calcium go out. So it reduces inflammation. Magnesium produces more GABA in the brain. GABA is the important calming down neurotransmitter what we have. Then magnesium, you need in all processes you need magnesium. But what you can't use is to take magnesium on your skin to increase your magnesium level in the brain. That's not possible. You can use it for the skin, cream magnesium, but not to increase the magnesium level in the brain. And then I say they should take 300 to 500, 700 milligrams per day.
That I wanted to ask you what the daily intake according.
What I use is a magnesium bisglycinate. It's for me the best form in combination with other vitamin B6 for better uptake, and it works very good. But you have to use it every day. You need 3 weeks. Every day take magnesium to increase your brain magnesium.
Yes.
So not once a week, it's too less.
So okay, and so now we can open another big topic, that it's leaky gut syndrome and the inflammation. So the question is what you can tell us about the leaky gut syndrome and the impact on inflammation, depression.
Yeah, the gut healing is the basic in our center. 80% of all patients which are visit us coming with gut problems. And in the standard medical school or standard medical doctors, they never heard or learned something about leaky gut syndrome. Leaky gut is when your gut is too much open, and some toxins, mostly gram-negative bacteria, with an LPS. In the gut we have a good flora and a bad flora, and the bad flora, the bad bacteria, have a molecule that names LPS, and this can go into the body. And the first way is to the liver, and we have in the liver an immune system, in the gut and in the liver. And when LPS comes from the gut, not only gut, also from a tooth, our immune system say, okay, we have to start with an inflammation. And today we know that a leaky gut, you can measure it in laboratory with SIGA or with calprotectin or with alpha antitrypsin or with fatty acid binding protein. There's good markers to say how, and the microbiome, which kind of bacteria are here.
Yes.
Then you can say how good is the gut working, or is there a higher risk for inflammation in the gut and in the system. We know the example, the Klebsiella.
Yes.
Klebsiella is a bacterium with LPS. And we know that Klebsiella is sometimes a cause of autoimmune disease. All patients in our house with autoimmune disease, we start in the gut restoration. New bacteria, Bifido, Lactobacillus, Rhamnosus. We know that Akkermansia mucinifila, very, very important gut bacteria, is very important. But if you have take antibiotics, destroy your good, healthy flora. One time's use of antibiotics can kill your completely gut flora, and then you have to restore with bifidobacteria and change nutrition. No sugar anymore, because sugar is the more sugar you eat, your bed bugs are growing in the gut. So change the gut flora, you change your mind. We know depressed people have another gut flora than not depressed people.
Yes. And the relation between gut and depression?
Yes, because in the gut we find all neurotransmitter in the gut what we have in the brain. The same neurotransmitter, serotonin, dopamine, GABA. And we need for serotonin the amino acid tryptophan. So if you have a lack of tryptophan, you can produce serotonin. But if you have a bad flora in the gut, there is an enzyme what your tryptophan decrease in the gut. So no tryptophan in the gut, no tryptophan in the brain. You will get depressed. The same is like for dopamine and for GABA. So what we see is if some double-blind, placebo-controlled studies, women use a yogurt with lactobacillus and change their mind. They say it's much better. The brain works better. So the stress tolerance is better. The sleep is better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
With a healthy gut.
So you think that it could be good preventively to decrease the gluten in our food preventively, just prevention, or not?
Less is good.
Less is better.
But if you have an autoimmune disease with inflammation, avoid gluten. But it's not only the gluten; are the RTEs in the nutrition. RTEs are dogs on the same immune system like bacteria, on the same receptor. RTEs, they make an inflammation. And if you avoid gluten, you have no RTEs as a double effect. So if you have morbus Crohn or colitis or depression or autoimmune disease, don't eat gluten. For 8 weeks, 100%. And then look the change.
Yeah.
Feel the change.
Yeah, it's good because not all the people are able to maintain long-term elimination, but for 8 weeks and to see the results and to make the choice. Yeah. So what the role, the other question is, what role does gut microbiota play in our health and how does it affect the hypothalamus, hypophysis, adrenal axis? So the gut and renals.
Yeah, that's a good question. We talked before adrenal glands in chronic fatigue syndrome. We have to remember if we have gut problems, and this is our gut is the biggest immune system. It's connected directly with our immune system. So we have bad bugs in our gut, bacteria coming in. Our immune system is activated. So our immune system produces cytokines. Cytokines are protein structures, cross the blood-brain barrier, goes in the brain and say, you are sick, you are sick, you are sick. We will get a depressive behavior when we have gut problems. Our hypothalamus says, okay, you are sick. I go to the adrenal glands with a substance called ACTH, and they produce again cortisol. So you can be tired because your immune system is permanently active and your adrenal glands is every time activated via the hypothalamus via cortisol to produce cortisol. So this is the circle what you can activate with and gut problems. You can get a burnout with gut problems.
Okay, yes.
That's the way. So close your gut, healthy brain.
Yes, that's very interesting.
We know that Parkinson and Alzheimer have also to do with gut problems. Parkinson's disease, the problem means SIBO.
Yes. Small
intestine bacterial overgrowth syndrome, when the small intestine is full with bad bugs, bad bacteria.
Yes. Yes. So a lot of stress, but the stress can come from the gut.
Also,
yeah. That's very interesting. So what are the main function of vitamin B and what health problems can arise from the deficiency of vitamin B?
Everything.
Everything.
Tire, heart attacks, depression. We know, can show you a very good study. 2 groups. One group got a vitamin B complex and they look the gray matter in the brain. And the other group didn't got vitamin B. They have a huge schrumpfen. The brain is shrinking. Yeah? The B vitamin protect our brain for dementia. So it's very, very important that we use a good B complex every day for brain and mitochondrial function. So in the right dosage, that's very important.
Yeah, and what the dosage are?
Now, yeah, depends on which B vitamin. So B12, what I measure in the blood is B12 should be over 500 picogram. 500 in the blood is the minimum, better 800 to 900. This is the basic for a good function. The other one, B1, B2, I don't measure it. It's too expensive. I give a B complex, mostly 50 milligrams from each, sometimes twice a day, because from this B complex, we can only absorb 30%. The rest is go out with the B. So we have no overdoses, there's no problem. And this is the basic, the B vitamins for mitochondria and brain function.
So interesting. Yeah, so I am coming just for the last questions. What are the latest research findings in mitochondrial medicine? What can be interesting for the future, for the treatment? So some of your idea, what the future for the mitochondria?
Everybody knows that everybody wants to be old, but healthy old, healthy aging. Yeah? And what we can do for our mitochondria, we know it, the autophagy. So we know we can restore our cells, we can restore our mitochondria when we are avoid nutrition, go in the fasting state for 12 to 16 hours, 2-3 times a week. So stop eating, tea, drinking what it's okay, then we have a chance to restore our bad mitochondria. Green tea is very good. Then fasting in general is live longer. And you can look for different papers. If you go fasting, we have a better life, more energy, higher chance to survive cancer also. If you have cancer and you go in fasting state, you have a higher chance to, it's a positive outcome. So my message to the people is eat less, have fun. It's very important, have fun, go out, exercise, take micronutrients, and avoid mainstream.
And so maybe this can be the recommendation and the last recommendation for this podcast. So so minimize the stress and to be in not comfort zone, to find an uncomfort zone. And to try to be older in a good condition and in a good quality.
That should be the quality of life.
Yeah. So thank you, Markus, for your podcast. It was very dense, but I'm very happy that our clinic was able to make a podcast with you as a host, and we are looking for another meeting together.
Thank you very much.